All right. Let us go to Athens. Let's do it. A lot of times we make everybody wait for the big one. We're not doing that today. We are going to this one. This line continues to hop. So it opened Georgia minus 10.5. It hopped up to Georgia minus 11.5. This morning, it was Georgia minus 8.5. And then in between, when we got set up for the show and when we actually started the show, it went back to Georgia minus 9.5. This thing is hopping all over the place.
So this is like a difficult game, I think, because like on the surface, it seems like way too many points. And I have actually already played it because it was over 10 at one point. And I thought that was a lot of points for a team that in Tennessee. The thing is we saw Georgia in person on Saturday and they got their butts kicked. And I think they got their butts kicked because they just did not match up well with Ole Miss. And Ole Miss has a very good pass rush. They've got a really good passing game. A lot better, I think, even than Tennessee's. So, maybe Ole Miss was more equipped to attack Georgia's defense. But Tennessee is going to be able to get after Georgia on offense the same exact way Ole Miss did. And outside of a turnover on the first possession that set up a Georgia touchdown, like Georgia didn't do anything offensively for 4 quarters in Oxford.
Yeah, that was an interception of a Jackson Dart pass that set up that touchdown. But to your point, Tennessee's defense and Ole Miss's defense, not the same scheme, of course, but personnel-wise, kind of similar. Like, great on the defensive line, very athletic in the secondary. Like, it is going to be a tough day for Carson Beck, probably. The difference between Ole Miss and Tennessee, which is interesting because they run basically the same offense, is that Ole Miss's offense is much more explosive. Tennessee, we'll see about Nico. Nico took a big hit in the Mississippi State game, missed the second half. Josh Heupel says he expects him to play. But look, Nico has failed to connect with his receivers on deep balls with regularity this year. If they were accurate with the deep ball, and sometimes it's Nico overthrowing, sometimes it's been receivers dropping it. But if they connected more often, I would be very confident in Tennessee winning this game. Very confident. But I am not, because I think this could be very similar to the Tennessee-Florida game and the Tennessee-Alabama game, where it is just a slog and both offenses are struggling.
Yeah. The thing that is difficult is that on paper, I think Tennessee is the absolute play here. I'm going to take Tennessee, right? Because of everything that we just said.
Do you want to go to Athens to watch Tennessee play Georgia in what could be a college football playoff elimination game? Get your butt to Game Time. Download the app. You can get tickets to that game. You can get tickets to Colorado, Utah. Got a brunch game with potential college football playoff implications because Colorado controls its destiny in the Big 12 race. And you go to that Game Time app, you hit the GT Picks feature, and it will tell you what the best prices are relative to the market. So there'll be a bunch of seats that are available. This will tell you which ones are actually the best deals. I used that myself a few weeks ago. My wife woke up, said, I'm taking our daughter to the Taylor Swift concert in Miami tonight. I said, you're doing what? She said, we're doing this. Get to Game Time and get us some tickets. And I did, and I used GT Picks and got amazing tickets where basically Taylor Swift could sweat on them, and my daughter got to meet Taylor Swift's mom. So there you go. Download the Game Time app, redeem the code STAPLES, and get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code STAPLES for $20 off your first purchase at Game Time.
I think Tennessee has a chance to win this game outright. In fact, I put Tennessee in the playoff and Georgia in the.
We lost Ari's microphone. Like, the technology just doesn't want to already talk. But I'm gonna pick up where Ari was. You're back. Go ahead.
Hey, I don't know this freaking cord. I'll rectify this today. Sorry about that. Andy, what if just Death Star Georgia shows up? Like, are we still on alert from that happening? What if the team that played Texas just shows up and just mauls Tennessee and just like beats the crap out
Ari,
of
have you looked at Georgia's offensive stats from the Texas game? The only Death Star that showed up was the defense. Georgia's offense was awful in that game.
Yeah, I think all their scoring drives are like 40 yards or less, right?
Well, they had an
35 yards
85-yard drive at the end of the game that was pretty good. But Carson Beck averaged, I think, 4.3 yards per attempt in that game. Like their offense was not good in that game.
So would you
their
say
defense was excellent?
This is a personnel issue?
This is exactly, and that's my concern. Like, I don't feel comfortable with the point spread pick in this game, even though I think it's too many points. So I'm gonna take Tennessee because I think it's too many points. But I don't feel comfortable with that pick. I feel extremely comfortable with under 48.5. Extremely comfortable with that.
It's November 11th. I'm starting to get my legs on the show. We're back together, friends being friends. Taking Tennessee money line.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
I'm also going to sprinkle in the spread too, maybe half unit money line, but like on the show graphic, I think Tennessee's going to win the game.
Yeah,
Nico has to show up though. I mean, we need some plays from the quarterback. We need the receivers to keep getting open. But from the aerial view in Oxford, Andy, Ole Miss's receivers were running around wide open the entire game. Like if Tennessee can get Nico easy targets like that, and he can stay on the money, and then their defensive line and James Pierce eats. Like I think there's a real path here for Tennessee to win the football game. And I already think
Dylan Sampson is better than all of Ole Miss's backs.
And everyone's healthy, right? Everyone's healthy.
Nico's not healthy, and Dylan got banged up a little bit in the Mississippi State game, but he was okay. Yeah. So no, everyone's not healthy.
No, everyone's gonna play.
Everyone's gonna play. Yes. Yep. But Beck. Interestingly enough, I felt like Beck did okay in terms of not throwing into coverage. Like we just showed the interception from the end of the game, but that's a 4th and 10 play where he has to make something happen at the end of the game. Nobody's open. Like there was nothing you could do about that. Like that one I'm not as worried about. He didn't put the ball in danger as much in that game as he did the previous 2 games. So I thought that was good, but I felt like he held the ball more, which allowed Ole Miss to tee off on him. And if you hold the ball against Tennessee, then they're also going to tee off on you.
Yep. Yeah. So it's possible too that like on Saturday night, I'll just have a bunch of Georgia fans in my mentions like making fun of me, and rightfully so. But
right, there is always a possibility, especially the way that Nico's played this year, that Tennessee's defense is lights out, that they force a bunch of turnovers, the offense gets short fields, and Tennessee wins this game. Or excuse me, Georgia wins the game. Like there is a distinct possibility that happens. But that's the only path I see to Georgia winning this game.
Yeah. Because we know they're not going to overpower them on the ground.
Tennessee to win.
Yeah. Do you think that the spread's this big just because of the logos on the helmets here? Like I'm just trying to figure it out.
Well, since Heupel's been there, they have really struggled against Georgia. They've struggled to move the ball at all against Georgia. And so I think that's part of it. I think Georgia kind of being able to shut down that offense in the past, but again, we just saw Georgia against that offense last week. It was not shutting it down. There were receivers open all over the field.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel comfortable. Tennessee money line, Tennessee plus 9.5. I don't know if it'll get to 10 or not, but if it does, hammer time.
We'll see. It could pop back up because remember it went down to 8.5, then back up to 9.5. So yeah, I'll take Tennessee to cover. Ari will take the Tennessee money line. I will take under 48.5, circled, highlighted, bolded under 48.5.